Before existence manifested in its physical nature, there was time. This is called Mahakala. That is an eternal space. You're not watching my words. I'm saying an eternal space. When there was no movement, when everything was still. See, these things were done for a certain purpose. It's called Parakaya Pravesha. There have been schools which have been fundamentally focused towards this in India, simply for entertainment. It's not worth exploring those things because it takes enormous effort. Suppose you're here, but you don't have a body. Whether this satsang is 2 hours or 2 millennia, would it matter to you? Only because you have a body, 2 hours happen. If you did not have a body, this is for 2000 years, what's the problem? So only because of physicality, time exists, isn't it? Only because you have a physical structure, time exists in your experience. If there was no physical body, what is time to you? The same goes for space also. If you had no body, what size dress would you need? Minus only because there's a body, space, isn't it? If you did not have a body, how many people could we have for satsang in this hall? Is there a limit, I'm asking? No. So only because you're identified with your physical nature, time and space is a reality for you. Otherwise, both wouldn't exist. So, is it a concept? It is not a concept, it is a reality of existence. Can we experience it? Anything that's real can be experienced. Even falsehood can be experienced, you know this? It's happening. In so many ways it's happening, isn't it? Things which are not true are true in your mind. There's a classic example in the yogic this thing, in the Yoga Sutras himself, Patanjali himself uses the example. Suppose we take a rope and throw it on you and say snake. Suddenly, everything that would happen to you if a snake had landed upon you will happen to you, though it is just an inanimate rope. You may even die of a heart attack. Yes, even falsehood, that which does not exist, you can experience. Such is the beauty of creation. Even that which does not exist, you can experience. Why would you be denied the ability to experience that which does exist? You definitely can. It is just that you have to disengage a little bit from your personal entertainment. That is, that which does not exist is dominating right now. Things that don't exist in the universe are happening in your mind and they're going about as if it's a reality. It's just badly made movies which are going on, that's all. What's happening in your mind is just bad cinema, isn't it? Not well directed. So, because of your engagement with that, this question comes up, can we experience reality? Reality is the only thing you can experience, isn't it? But creation is so generous, it is willing to allow you to experience even that which does not exist. Fantastic, isn't it? The most beautiful thing about time is If you do something, it passes by. If you do nothing, it passes by. If you're joyful, it passes by. If you're miserable, it passes by. It's absolutely just, no matter who you are, how you are. For everybody, it passes at the same speed. Only thing is, our experience of the time could be different, depending upon how intensely we live or how slack we are. If you're very slack with life, it looks like time is passing by very slowly. If you're very intense, time just flies by. But in reality, time is happening to all of us at the same pace. These cycles of time whether it's minutes or hours or days, or months or years that go by. These cycles of time anything that's cyclical is naturally repetitive. But anything that is cyclical also has a centrifuge or a centrifugal force, a force which is always trying to go away at a tangent from the circle. If you ride this centrifugal force of time, we say you're spiritual. If you are caught up in the cycle of time, then that's being material. If you're crushed by the cycles of time, then we say you're a suffering creature. It is the same cycle. Either you can be crushed by the cycle, or you can be trapped in the cycle, or you can ride the cycle. To ride the cycles of time, not to be trapped in it, definitely not to be crushed by it. Time is a crushing experience for a lot of people. Yes. Anything cyclical has this ability that it can crush you, or it can trap you, or you can ride it. In the yogic way of looking at things, we see time. Time is referred to as kala. Kala means both time and space. Kala means darkness. Darkness means that which does not stop light. Understand? If there is light going by, you won't see it. Only if it's stopped by something, you see it. So that which does not stop light is called darkness. So, that which does not stop light is empty space. So both space and time are referred to as kala because they're not seen as two different entities. Only because there is time, space is possible. Because there is time, you can move from point A to point B, so there is space. If there was no time, there was no way to move. The general perception is that because there is space, there is time. But I don't see it that way. Because there is time, there is space. Now, there is time which happens because of cycles. The planet spins once, it's a day. The moon goes around the planet, it's a month. The planet goes around the sun, here we are today. The cycles of time are one dimension of time. There's another dimension of time which is beyond the cyclical nature. This we call as the great time, it's called the Mahakala. There is time and there is greater time. Even when there are no cycles, there is time. But where there is no cyclical movement, there is no physical happening. Everything that's physical in the universe, from what is atomic to what is cosmic, everything is cyclical. If there are no cycles happening, there is no physical possible. When I said, if you take a tangent or if you take the centrifugal to ride away from the cycles of time, that means being spiritual. It's in this context that we know the cycles of time only because of physical reality. If we could measure, what is the speed of an electron around the proton or neutron, we could keep time, atomic time. But a bit too much for us. So we measured the planets, how much time it takes to go around the sun. We said it's a year. We went little further down to days and hours and minutes and seconds. But all of them are cycles of the physical existence. If there is no physical existence, we would not know anything that's cyclical. If we did not know what is cyclical movement, we would not know the cyclical nature of the time. But before existence manifested in its physical nature, there was time. This is called Mahakala. that is an eternal space. You're not watching my words. I'm saying an eternal space. When there was no movement, when everything was still, there was time, but nothing cyclical happening. That dimension of time into which everything dissolved and from which everything sprang up. When certain energy touched it, it took to cyclical movement. When cyclical movement happened, physical happened. When physical happened, we could measure time. Otherwise, time was just space. So the word kala means both time and space.
What is Astral? They say that you can just lie down on it. Not anyone, but people who experience Astral journey go out of their body, stay out for some time, and then come back.
See, most of the people, I know there are a lot of stuff going on here. In United States, everybody is doing astral journeys. It's just hallucination, okay? You lie down and just imagine that you're flying here, flying there. That's not it. Unfortunately, everything becomes ridiculous when all kinds of people start handling it. What is being referred to as astral is, there are 5 kinds of bodies: physical body, mental body, energy body, etheric body and bliss body. These are 5 dimensions of the body. We are referring to everything as body in yoga. So that you can understand it as a physical entity. Though the last 2 are not physical, still we're referring to it as a body because yoga is a method, not a philosophy. It is not a philosophy, it is a method. So we are seeing how to employ a certain method to make use of certain things. What is being referred to as astral body is leaving the physical body, mental body, energy body and the bliss body intact and just allowing the etheric body to float around. That means you can conduct your activity here because your physical body, mental body, energy body is intact. But just allowing the etheric body to go, that's a certain kind of mastery. You can't just psych yourself into it. It needs enormous sadhana for a person to do that. Compared to etheric body, pranic body is physical. It's more physical kind of presence. It's energy, but it's a physical energy. Etheric is a transitory energy. It is neither physical nor beyond, it is a transition. Bliss body is totally beyond the physical. So, getting the pranic body out and putting it back is easy and it's a much stronger experience because a physical part of you goes out and gets back. Etheric body needs much more sadhana because that is not even in your experience, it is not something that you can touch unless you're in a certain level of sadhana and intensity within yourself. But every street corner they are doing astral travel these days. That's just hallucination.
See, these things were done for a certain purpose. It's called parakaya pravesha. There have been schools which have been fundamentally focused towards this in India, simply for entertainment. It's not worth exploring those things because it takes enormous effort to get mastery over those things. And in the end, what? What do you achieve? It is of no spiritual consequence.